perpetrators of the same issue. Bearing false witness against brethren has disturbed so many relations. Right now, people don't see each other. They no longer see each other because of a false witness. So when God was giving the 10 Commandments, he saw it fit to warn his children against this treacherous act. Thou shalt not bear false witness against your neighbor. So when you read, when the Hebrews would speak of a neighbor, they would talk of someone you know, be it a relative, be it a workmate, a real neighbor, a churchmate, someone you know, but for some reason you have disagreed, or you have a disagreement, or you are fighting for some reason. The Bible is saying you should guard against false witnessing against a brother. So, as I said, I want us to discuss. If there are no discussions, I will pray and go. But I know very well that this issue is, some are here because the places they used to worship, yes, are no longer as comfortable because of a false witness. Some no longer belong to certain groups they used to be part of because of a false witness. So this is not a small matter. And as I stand to talk about it, I see a lot of calm faces. But I know deep down you have come across this issue. And it is in a place like this that we need to agree and bring our case to God for him to help us. The peace, happiness, security, trust, and tranquility are in jeopardy when this commandment is ignored or when it is violated. Some no longer trust each other, not because of what they did to each other, but because of what was said about the other part by someone who was intentional about that. So when we talk of false witnesses, we are going to also see how innocent people are involved and participate. But we want to start by the perpetrators, those who get into this intentionally, and you realize that from the commandment, it is actually saying when this is done, it is a form of fighting. There are various ways in which people fight. There are various ways in which people fight. I've worked for a newspaper for quite some time. There is what they call, in media, there is what they call agenda setting. Agenda setting is an intentional plan to portray someone in a certain light. And this is so calculative, so much that even the victim tries to defend themselves. No one will pay attention. And this is usually a good tool for politicians. They know how to use it well. Someone said, let's give them 5 days in the press. And in 5 days, they should resign. And they resigned on the 3rd day. So when God said, thou shalt not be a false witness, he knew very well the power of this evil act. Some have done so to gain favor. The only way I can get favor from Nkoma Jose is to go and say something bad about Mlalas. We have a lot of people who gained the confidence of other people through false witnessing. I have a number of microphones here. I want someone to contribute. Please raise your hands. Feel free. After the discussion, I will pray. So don't worry. Thank you. I'm seeing some hands. May God bless you. Now we are talking. This is not the spirit of prophecy. We are not in Revelation. We are talking about real life issues. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thank you.
Okay, so this one time, I was at home and I was visited by Childline. And I'm thinking, okay, they've decided to visit me. And quickly, when they get into the house, they quickly isolate the children so that you don't say something about them, or sorry, don't say something to them. So, because I'm a stepmother, so they came, the two of them. So the lady quickly took the children out, and then the gentleman spoke to me inside the house. So I was wondering, how did Childline get to my house? Why? Fast forward, I discovered there is a lady from Harare City Center Church who decided to report me to Childline. On a false witness, they bid against me. But thank God, they did their findings and nothing came out. I had to call them and be like, so how far with that case? Like, nah, no, it was just false alarm. Now, can you imagine, I was new at this church. If I had the same mind as the certain lady, do you think I'll still be here? No. But because I said, you know what? If that verse is there in the Bible, it means God knew that there are certain people like that in the church. And, well, what we need to do about them, to them, is to be kind to them, because they probably do not know what they are talking about. They know not what they do.
Yes.
So I kind of like distanced myself from that person until they realized it. But we have spoken about it and we are so over it. But to some people, they can be very hard to an extent that they will actually leave the church and go and backslide. But well, me, I'm good. We are good.
Thank you. May God bless you. May God continue to strengthen you. Now, with this commandment speaks to the right of someone, or it speaks to one's right over their reputation. Thou shalt not bear false witness. This commandment seeks to protect people's reputation. So, yes, I loved the part where you said they know not what they are doing. Let me support that with verse 44. John chapter 8, verse 44. It says, ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. Ye was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Now I want you to look into two things. Firstly, Christ people, or he stabs people. He says he is the originator of lies. So, in other words, according to Christ, a false witness is as good as a murderer. So when God said, thou shalt not bear false witness against your brother or your neighbor, he knew very well that the results of false witnesses, the results of this, in most cases, some have even lost their lives. So that's why I said it's a bit sensitive, but we have no option. We have to speak about these things. It is there in the Bible. If you want something or some favor from someone, leave other people's names. Hello? Yes. So, a lot of people are now enemies, not because of what they did between themselves or to one another, but because of what was said by someone. You may realize, I just want you to see this. You may realize that you could be good friends or just in talking terms with someone, and all of a sudden, not because they moved or they transferred or they are dead, but you just start to realize that they no longer talk to you. This is an intentional move by someone. So when the Bible says, thou shalt not bear false witness, the Bible is trying to protect relations. The Bible is trying to protect reputations. Before I read the next text, is there someone who wants to? Yes, there's a hand over there. Is that a hand?